Summer is in full swing and it is a great time to be wearing a dive watch. And Aquatico has come out with a new line of dive watches that have some really bright, fun colors. And they come out at a really great 39mm size. So two things you don't see very often, especially in this kind of affordable price range. So today I'm going to go ahead and unbox the watch. I'll give you my first impressions. I'm going to spend a couple days with it, check it out, and then come back with, my final thoughts at the end of this video and let you know what I thought of the watch. Now, this watch was sent to me for free by Aquatico. However, other than the watch itself, they didn't provide any compensation for this review, nor did they give any input into the content of the review itself. Also, if you like this t-shirt, I am selling it on my t-shirt shop. You can get it down below. Link to that as well. And there's a lot of other cool designs I've been putting together for people who are into watches. But let's go ahead and unbox this watch. And inside we have the Aquatico Dolphin. So we can quickly see what comes in the package. You're getting the watch, which we'll be spending most of our time looking at. You're also getting a fairly high quality NATO strap. So they've included the same NATO with other watches. It is a nice NATO strap. It's got a different weave and feel than pretty much any other NATO that I've seen. It's a little bit unique there. Not branded or anything on the clasp though. We will try it out on this and see how it looks. And then you've got an Aquatico warranty card. Mine is not signed or dated. I'm not sure if that's because this is a review unit or if they do that with all of theirs. And instructions on what to do with it. But we're here mostly for this. So let's get the packaging off first and take a look at it. Okay, so there it is with all of the packaging off. Get some nice playful colors going on here. So this has got a very kind of pale blue with this sort of, I think, orange or coral colored second hand. And this is coming in at a 40mm size. So I think they're trying to go with kind of a unisex size and color scheme here. I think this is something that either a man or a woman could get away with wearing. I think it's a little bit cool seeing Aquatico take on a color scheme like this. I think most of the colors in the Dolphin line, they do have some really fun ones like this. So it's kind of nice to get something a little bit out of the ordinary. As far as design goes, I initially saw it, I thought they were going for kind of a Submariner homage, but I think they've taken a lot of different directions. Obviously the Mercedes hands really kind of screams that, the crown guards, but the case, it has a little bit of a Submariner influence, but I think overall it's not that much of a direct homage of it. They've taken some elements of maybe a number of different watches. Stainless steel bezel and insert. You're getting brushing along the top and then polishing on the sides, sign crown. And the case shape has a distinct curve to it. Flat polished side, but nice curve to the case. Getting a full brushed, kind of oyster looking bracelet. The clasp is similar to a lot of other Aquatico ones. It's not my favorite clasp. It's well made. It's very sturdy. It's not going to come loose, but it is just friction based. You've kind of got to get your... Okay. Yeah, it's kind of hard to get the clasp open. There's no buttons or anything. Someone mentioned a trick. If you actually pull from the back, it comes up easier rather than the front. But yeah, getting it open like this can be a bit of a trick, especially when they're right out of the box. They do tend to loosen up after you've owned them for a little bit, which is kind of nice. Okay, there we go. Milled clasp, so very solid clasp, but yeah, not the easiest to use. And does feel a little bit sharp on the edges on the clasp itself. And something that maybe a lot of people are going to be happy to see back. This is the Dolphin, so the mermaid riding the dolphin case back is on this Aquatico in all of its glory. A lot of their newer watches, they kind of ditched that for something a little bit, I don't know, less cheesy, but I think a lot of people really liked that case back. It's a mermaid riding a dolphin. All right, let's get the dimensions and specifications. Okay, so I was wrong. This is actually 39 millimeters. So going across the bezel, you're getting 39 millimeters. And the bezel actually extends a little bit over the case, so the case is actually going to run a little bit lower. So, yeah, smaller size. Thickness is just slightly over 12 millimeters. Getting 20 millimeter lugs, 46 millimeter lug to lug, and female end links, so that's going to drop right at that 46 millimeters. So very compact watch, good sizing there. It also has 300 meters of water resistance, and then inside it's running the Seiko NH35 movement, which for a budget watch I think is the best option. Great dependability, good performance, hacking, hand winding, easy to service or replace. I don't think you can ask for much more. Now, one thing I will note about the bracelet, you are getting solid end links, solid links. It's a very solid bracelet, but it does feel a little sticky there. I don't know if you can kind of see. The links don't flow very smoothly. I would have liked to have seen that a little bit smoother, and it is a little bit rattly. Let's check the bezel action. All right, that is great bezel action. That's, I think, the best I've seen from Aquatico. Really nice feel to it. There is a little bit of backplay though. So the action is really good, but yeah, it's kind of more backplay than I've seen on some of the other ones. It's not terrible, but it is there. Pretty good, easy to grip with this coin edge bezel. And alignment looks pretty good. Let's check the crown. Okay, so threading feels pretty smooth. Hacking, date or time setting feels, yeah, very responsive. Easy to find the two positions, so date's easy to find. Yeah, that's all in order. Again, the bracelet though is kind of sticky. You can feel the links kind of, yeah, there if you see that. See, they kind of bend there and they just sort of stay there. I mean, you can straighten them out, but it doesn't flow very much. Again, that's something that will probably loosen up as you wear it, but yeah, I would have liked to have seen that a little bit smoother out of the box. Okay, let's size this up and see how it feels on the wrist. Okay, so there it is sized up on my 7.5-inch wrist. I had to take out 3 links. It does use the pin and collar system, which has become my favorite system for link removal. I like it better than screw links. I like it better than regular push pins. Screw links, they can actually be kind of a pain to get in and out, and they keep coming loose on a lot of my watches. Pin and collar system, you need a little bit more force to get them out. I use the hammer, and I usually have no problem, but once it's locked in, it doesn't come out. So yeah, I like the pin and collar system. Just make sure you don't lose those tiny little collars. Yeah, I've been getting used to these smaller watches too. This 39mm makes it one that I think can really either be worn by men or women, so that's kind of cool to see. Now on the wrist, I am feeling a little tiny bit of hair tugging with this bracelet. Again, I think that the links are maybe a little bit too close together. A little bit stiff and sticky there. But again, hopefully something that would loosen up in the future. The bracelet does taper a lot now that I'm noticing it. Let's see what that taper is. So you go from 20mm at the watch head down to about 16. It's a pretty steep drop there, which is nice. It's a nice look for a watch like this. Another closer look at that glorious case back. Okay, so there it is on the NATO strap, and it's a very nice NATO. I really like this NATO. Nice and comfortable, and I think a watch this size, this thin, wears pretty well on a NATO. That 12mm thickness, you don't add too much by putting it on a single pass like this. And kind of a neat look to it, sort of, yeah, definitely changes the look by switching over to this black NATO. really goes well, I think, with those kind of pastel colors. Really fun look. And very comfortable. The NATO is a little bit short. I got 7.5 inch wrist, and I just barely got enough room to tuck the edge of it underneath the keeper there. All right, finally, let's check out the loom before we wrap this up. All right, we are in the dark here. Let's go ahead and light this guy up with the black light. So there you can see we've got a nice blue glow, so this BGW9. The pip is loomed, but the rest of the bezel is not, stainless steel bezel. And kind of nice markings on there. So you've got, for all the hours, you have an exclamation mark, it's a little dot and line, then a triangle at 12 o'clock. It's pretty classic there. Aquatico tends to go, yeah, just with a nice even average coating of loom. So I'm going to go ahead and actually wear this watch for a couple days, and then I'll shoot the outro and close this out, and then I can give you a little bit more of an opinion of what I think about this watch after some actual experience with it. Okay, so I've spent a few days with the Aquatico Dolphin on the wrist, and it is a really fun watch. I really like the bright colors. It's something that I don't have anything quite like that in my collection, these kind of cool pastel colors, and there's a lot of different options besides this sort of pastel blue. I also like the size. That 39 millimeters is a fun size for a dive watch. I'm getting more and more used to these kind of smaller sizes, and a lot of brands have been putting them out this year, so I think a lot of people have been asking for that, so that's another cool plus. But is this watch worth the $300 price that they're asking? Maybe. I think that largely depends if you really want a watch with a brightly colored dial and you really want that 39 millimeter size, because those two things in combination are things you don't see very often, and there's not a lot of options there. So for people who are specifically looking for a smaller watch with a really bright, fun dial color, I think it is going to be worth it for you guys. But if you're just looking for a great dive watch for $300, I think there are better options out there. There's a couple of things I would have liked to have seen improved on this one for that $300 price point. Number one, the overall finishing seems a little bit rough. Some sharp edges on the clasp, and overall the clasp that Aquatico uses on a lot of their watches is not my favorite. I would like to see that upgraded to something that's a little bit smoother to operate. And while the bezel action was great, it did have more backplay than I expected, and I would have also liked to see the potency of the loom sort of amped up a little bit. I believe Aquatico is based out of Hong Kong, and China is offering a lot of incredible watches at really affordable prices. And I think you can find some other Chinese brands that'll give you a little bit more bang for a buck than this particular Aquatico Dolphin does. But I do like that this is not just a straight up homage of some other popular Swiss watch. They've definitely taken their inspiration from a couple of different places. They've sort of mixed and matched some things. They've added this really fun dial color, an interesting case size. And so they've kind of, put together something that's a lot more unique, has a lot more character than what you find in a lot of, really affordable AliExpress watches. So I definitely appreciate that part of the watch. And again, I think if you're looking for something with a really bright, fun dial color, and a smaller 39 millimeter case size, it might still be worth it to you even at that $300 price point. If you are interested in this watch, I do have a link to it down below in the description. Also, if you're interested in picking up a cool watch themed t-shirt like this one, link to my t-shirt shop down below as well. That's going to wrap up for today. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.